take driver's education. Kids don't go through this information. And it's really important that we understand and lock in. Our goal is to get 70% or higher. You're going to see your scores. I'm going over each question. I'm going to go through 10 questions. And then you're going to put in a question for me about, why is this question this way? Why is this rule this way? We have to learn to question things. And we want to learn and get better and elevate. So we got an accuracy of 70%. I'll take that, but I want higher. One person got a 92%. Yeah! One person got a 1%. Yeah! Okay, let's go through these questions. Let's lock in. Okay, define risk. If you look through your notes, risk is always present. When you first get into your car and back up, you can run over your neighbor's little kid. You can run over a bike, okay? A person can run a light when you have a green light. You could lose control of your car and have a seizure and go through TROP, okay? Go through Starbucks. Risk is always present. Let's keep moving. Identify the 6 characteristics of risk. I need you to put that in the chat. Again, I need you to type in the 6 characteristics of risk. If you read week 1, you'll be able to put that in with no problem. If you didn't read it, you're struggling right now. I already named a couple. Risk is always present. Risk can be identified by certain events that trigger that. For instance, you don't take care of your tires. It's raining. Because you didn't take care of your tires and buy new ones, when it rains, you're going to hydroplane and spin out. You're a young driver. You're going to have more risk than a driver who's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80. Why? You drive more miles. You drive faster. You don't obey traffic signs and traffic signals. You have something called the kryptonite quotient, meaning you think you're indestructible. As a result, your age group, unfortunately, has more accidents, gets in more injuries, and has more fatalities, okay? Let's keep going. Each time you drive, you need to make a routine pre-driving check. Check your tires. There's a question on your test. Your tires are the most important thing. They separate you on the road. If you have good tires, you can stop in a shorter stopping distance. I'm using a key word. Your stopping distance will be decreased. This is a driver's education masterclass, so we're talking about terms. If your tires are bald, your stopping distance will be increased, okay? You got to check your tires, your gauges. Do you have oil pressure? Do you have fuel? Is your battery at 14.2, 14.3? Are your mirrors properly adjusted? Okay? Next, in a multiple lane roundabout, should you change lanes before or after? You need to change lanes before you get into the roundabout. Changing lanes inside the roundabout is dangerous because cars are in a designated lane. We get cut off by the double roundabout trap area by CHIP because people are in the wrong lane. And you see skid marks and you see people knocking down the yield signs because they don't know what they're doing. This is young drivers, middle-aged drivers, and old drivers. You're probably saying, why you like this, teacher? Because I examine driver's education. I examine drivers. I'm intrigued. I love cars. I want to see who is the best driver. Is it a 16 to 25? Probably not. Who's the best driver? Is it a 25 to 35? Probably yes. Who's the best driver? Is it a 35 to 45? Maybe. Who's the best driver? Is it a 45 to 55? Each age group has strengths and weaknesses. And once you understand that, and you see a teenager, you'll say, whoa, that's a teenager. I need to stay away from them. Whoa, that's a person in their 60s or 70s. No cap, no hate, don't come for me. You need to understand. So once you start to understand the type of driver you're around, you're really going to be successful. Just like in high school, you're a freshman coming in the door. You're running down the hallway with your hoodie on backwards and Crocs on. You look ridiculous. All the sophomores and juniors are looking at you like, whoa, what's wrong with that kid? Oh, they're a freshman. No one really pays attention to you. And really, you look silly and embarrassing. By the end of your freshman year, some sophomores are going to pull you aside and say, listen, freshman, we come in having a nice shirt on. We don't come in late. We don't have juice stains on our shirt. We don't wear our hoodie backwards. That's middle school stuff. Why? Because I teach middle school and high school. Some of you will do that. Okay. Should you adjust your seat so that your right foot can reach the accelerator pedal with your knee bent at an angle of approximately 45? The correct answer is about a 90-degree angle. You want to be able to pivot your foot between the gas and brake. If you don't understand what pivot means, go look it up. You pivot your foot between the gas and brake. You don't lift your heel. Let's keep moving. When should you adjust your mirrors? Before or after the seat? It is after you adjust your seat. You want to come in, lock your door, put on your seat belt, adjust your seat. Then you want to center yourself. You want to frame the rear window in the mirror so you can see everything behind you. You want to adjust your left mirror so you can just have a quick glance, check your mirror, and then you check your blind spot by looking over your shoulder. Oh, by the way, all of you who drive with me, you're going to look over the wrong shoulder. You're going to use the wrong blinker. It's really important that you understand driving is a multitask event. Let's go back to a high school example. You're going to get lost in your school because you can't read a map. You're going to go the wrong way on the other side of school and be late. And then you're going to tell your teacher, I'm sorry, I was lost. All freshmen get a map and the hallway is clearly identified by numbers. But you don't understand that, so you use that excuse. You're 18 or 25-year-old. You're going to New York. You can't read interstate signs. The interstate. Odd routes run east and west. Even routes run north and south. So you want to understand that, okay? But you rely on your phone. Your phone dies. You can't read a paper map. Let's go to a person in their 50s or 60s. You are confused. It's a rainstorm. You get lost because you can't see the signs. It's really important that you understand. Hello, E, how are you doing? Thank you, girl. Appreciate you being here. So you get lost and you don't know how to use the iPhone 25, right? So I'm giving you some real life examples. All right, let's keep moving. Next. When both inside rear view mirror and outside rear view mirror are properly adjusted, the right blind spot and the smaller blind spot will still be there. This is true. A lot of you said false. It's really important that you understand, and I want to go right to the courtesy information. A lot of you aren't reading this. Why? I'm going to show you. And we're looking through information, and it's going to talk specifically about mirrors. So this is why I know some of you are not reading. I want to speak truth. And there's a special section on mirror usage. So this tells me you guys are not reading. Mirror usage. Any time, speed, and position adjustments are necessary, the driver must consider the location, size of a vehicle. When stopping, anytime a driver prepares to slow down or stop, the driver's eyes should scan first the rearview mirror. Mirror usage when turning. When the driver prepares to turn, mirrors should be checked. Checking mirrors and blind spots. Regular side mirrors, even when angled out and an additional 12 to 16 degrees, enhanced mirror settings do not provide sufficient information to safely make a movement to the side without first making mirror check blind spots. So this tells me some of you aren't reading, because if you read this, you wouldn't miss it. That's showing love, just being honest, and I simply want to help you, okay? I really, really want to help you. So I'm trying to keep you accountable, and if your mom was here teaching the class, she would say, oh, honey, he went over that. Okay, so 7 of you missed it. Next. If the head restraint is adjusted properly, it should be in the middle of a person's head. This is true. 6 of you said it was not. It's in the middle of the back of your head, because if you get rear-ended, you'll be pushed forward and then you'll be moved back. And this head restraint will protect you. So again, You got to read. Head restraints, when properly adjusted, provide the most protection from a vehicle being struck from behind. The rear. Some of you said front. So this tells me, and I'm being real, you can't visualize what your car is doing. Let's go to a high school example. You walk on hugging the right because you haven't learned how to walk in a high school size hallway. Your middle school size hallway was real small or narrow, okay? Or you are practicing shooting a three-pointer. You shoot air balls because you are shooting about 10 feet and your ball goes down in front of the basket. Or you shoot 50 feet over and you shoot over the rim. So some of you say, why are you using hallway examples? Because you're high school students. You are vocational students, okay? Just like walking down the sidewalk. People still walk down the sidewalk. If you still walk down the sidewalk, put yes. If you still walk. If you get out of the house, if you get out of the house and get a tan, I have a tan. If you get out and get fresh air, when you get out, you see the whole world, okay? So I'm using this as an example. You've got to learn to have everything adjusted properly. When you're walking in the hallway in school, you don't want to hug the right, you're going to hit people on the locker. You don't want to go to the left side of your right line because you're going to hit people walking the opposite way. And some people have bad attitudes. They get angry, they get mad, and now you have a problem because you think you can run through high school and you hit a person, and then next thing you know, you have 5 people at the door waiting for you after class. Sounds like it's going to be a problem. All right, let's keep going. When a vehicle is equipped with airbags, the safest position for any child restraint is in the middle. That is false. It is in the rear seat. So this tells me it's really important that you read the question, you understand. Now, for the first 10 questions, you need to put in a question for me. Put it in the chat. Put in a question. I'm looking through right now.
Sir, the chat's disabled.
Don't worry, I'm enable it again. Bam! All right, there we go. It's fresh. Lock it in, guys. Get those questions in for me. As you get to put a Q in a question, we're talking about mirrors. We're talking about blind spots. We're not talking about the test. Have you been in a crash? How many questions on the test? When is my driving time? Let's stay focused. I said the first 10 questions. Time is good. It's 11:27. I'm taking my time. The class today will focus on worksheet 1, why you fail your test. I think a lot of people have to learn depth perception. Some people have depth perception issues. You walk to the side, okay? Going a little bit deeper, I already answered the question. If you're taller, you adjust the head restraint up. If you're shorter, you adjust the head restraint down. I'm 6'4". If I'm in a car that has a smaller seat, I'm gonna have to raise the head restraint up. If you're shorter, you're gonna have to have it down. That is safety equipment to help you not have whiplash when you get hit. I like the questions, let's keep putting those in. Why does the head restraint not also help in frontal crash? Because, Sarah, it's for a rear crash, because when you hit from the rear, Sarah, your head will flow forward and then it will go back. So this tells me you don't understand physics. I'm just being honest. Just like, Sarah, if your car is hit from the front, your head's gonna fly back. And then that head, so Sarah, do you understand? You have to have the head restraint in the back, because if it's in the front, you can't see. Sarah, if you understand what I'm saying now, the head restraint has to be in the back. It helps you in a rear collision. It helps in a frontal collision. Sarah, if you understand, type yes in the chat. I'm going to keep going. You will have some bounce forward, Sarah, but remember, I love this, Sarah, because she's starting to get deep. If you have your seatbelt on, this locks you into the seat. You will still have head whip, but it will be minimal because you have your head restraint to protect your head and neck. You will still have some whiplash. The same thing in my 1968 Gen 1 Camaro. I have a roll cage around me. I'm traveling almost 150. And if, heaven forbid, I hit something, I have a little J hook and a big cushion, and I have a helmet on. But I have a 5-point seat harness that goes over my shoulders, over my legs, and through the center of my legs. So also you can submarine, not the submarine that goes under the water, submarine, but you can actually slip out of your seat belt in a really bad crash. So Sarah, you got a lot. The head restraint is in the back. It protects you from a rear collision so you don't completely break your neck off. It protects you from a front collision because when you hit, your body will move forward, you have the seatbelt on, and then it will go back. Those are the laws of inertia. Woo! Good question. Let's keep going. Why is the rear seat the safest spot? Okay, young Jordan. Young Jordan, we have front seats. In the event of a crash, those front seats will provide additional stopping power for a child. And also they're in a car seat. So Jordan, when you were a little child, you had a car seat. Another teachable moment. If you're over 4 feet and over a certain weight, you don't need to be in a car seat anymore. So Jordan, the safest area is in a car seat in a back. So if you get hit, the little infant who's hopefully strapped into the car seat, if you get hit from the rear, the child will fly forward. And because they're in a car seat, I'm not talking about a booster seat, I'm talking about a car seat. That car seat is specially designed. You have padding on the left, padding on the right, so that infant will have a little movement, but remember, their bones are still developing. Now, a booster seat, your little brother or sister, they're like 3 feet. They're not a midget, no cap. They're 3 feet. They need to be in a booster seat, so if you stop fast, they're gonna fly forward. They better be in their seatbelt, and then the back cushion of the back seat will protect them, and their head could hit your back seat. So now you understand. I got a 4 for 1. Jordan, great question. We're able to cover everything. Let's keep going. I can tell you guys are getting deep. Let's keep moving, and we're great on time. How do you adjust your seat? Okay, how do you adjust your driver and passenger side mirrors? You get your seat properly adjusted. You turn your head slightly to the left and lean forward. You want to have your inside mirror at about a 12 to 16 degree. Let's look. Let's go back to our information. Another teachable moment. Let's go back to mirror adjustments, mirror usage. Okay, let's look at this. Mirror usage when turning, enhanced mirror settings. Okay, let's talk about this. The inside mirror is the primary mirror for rear viewing. So you have 3 mirrors. Your inside mirror is your primary one. That's what you're gonna rely on most of the time. You're gonna frame the rear window in the mirror, okay? The left side mirror, the driver must rest their head. You asked and I told you, thank you. Hey, and I'm going over the notes too. You guys are getting a 4 for 1. You're getting everything. So this is how you adjust your mirror. To set your left mirror, the driver must rest their head against the closed window. Lean a little bit. And set the mirror to barely see the right edge of the vehicle. The rear edge, okay? Because you lean to the left edge. To set the right mirror, the driver should lean to the right so their head is directly below the rear view mirror or above the center console. The mirror should be adjusted the same way as the left. So the edge of the right of the vehicle can barely be seen. Boom. I gave you scholarly information. I showed you. I'm at a 1,000%. So we're reviewing mirror settings and you guys are getting ready for your quizzy. And it's a good thing. Let's keep going. I love this. All right. So airbags, they do the same thing. When a vehicle is equipped with an airbag, the safest position for any child restraint is in the middle rear seat. Okay, middle rear seat. Let's keep going. If the temperature light comes on while driving, you should pull over to the right side of the road. Turn off the motor because you're about to blow up your engine. And gauges are misunderstood by beginning drivers. Your biggest gauge you're going to look at is the fuel gauge because you're going to drive everywhere. Okay? Let's keep moving. Now we're on gauges. Hey, inertia, remember I talked about this? Inertia is the primary reason that safety belts are important to the driver in a crash. True or false? It is true. Some of you put false. Misinformation. If you don't have your seatbelt on, you're gonna fly out of the car. I'll say it again. You're gonna fly out of the car. If I don't have my seatbelt on, going 149 in my Gen 1 Camaro, are you kidding? I'm gonna fly out through my window and my own car's gonna run me over. You have to be kidding. I have a specially designed car with a chromoly roll cage. I'm giving you a real life example. I have a helmet on. I have a neck collar, so I don't have minimal head whip. I have a fire suit. I have gloves. You are in a passenger car. You're not going 150. You're not going 149. You're not going 147. I have to have certain safety equipment in the car before I go down the track. Fire suit, gloves, 5-point seat harness, window net. So if I do crash, my arm doesn't come out. I also have to have a power shut off. So those things are more advanced, okay? Some of your Cobra Mustangs, they have a special seat harness, okay? Let's keep going. Next, hand over hand steering involves pushing the steering wheel down with one hand while the other hand crosses and pulls the wheel further down. This is true. Some of you put false because you don't understand it. Like you go into high school, you're gonna have work in every single class. You just love math and you let everything else fall. Your parents are gonna be upset. Or you don't take time to do all your work. You think I can just do tests and you get a D. And then you want to blame the teacher. They suck. I don't like them. And then you start arguing and you make a false premise that your teacher is terrible, but you don't do the work. But your teacher has great documentation. Your teacher noted, I gave the student homework. They didn't do the practice test. They got a 0. I gave them a quizzy. They got a 0. And the same questions were on the practice test and the quizzy. They took the test and then you bring your mom and dad in and the principal, and you go for the teacher trying to clock their T. But your teacher's like, no, I'm very thorough. On August 1st, I gave you a practice, you didn't do it. On August 10th, I gave you a quizzy over the practice, you failed it. And then I gave you the actual quiz or test. On August 20th, you failed it. And then your parents look at you like, what are you gonna say? And you're like, the teacher doesn't like me. Because you cause problems in class, you throw pencils, right? So you have to take that responsibility. Like, I understand my task. I got to go over this. And some of you are paying attention. Some of you are goofing off. Some of you don't care. But when we get in the car, you don't care if we get rear-ended and you don't have your seatbelt on, or you have your seat misadjusted, or you're too close to the steering wheel. You're going to eat an airbag. You want to be about 12 inches, 15 inches away from the steering wheel. Some of you are going to get really close, and I'm going to say, stop, freshman, adjust your seat back. Why? You're too close to the steering wheel. Your hand should be at a 90 degree, okay? You want to be able to pivot your foot, okay? Great question. All right, let's keep moving. The correct technique for backing up and steering the car in the opposite direction that you want to go when the car moves, true or false? This is true. Some of you are confused when backing up. If I ask you to back to the right, you have to turn the steering wheel to the right. You turn it to the left, the car goes to the left. So you don't understand directions when you turn the front of the wheel, and then you get embarrassed, and then your friends in the back laugh at you. It's like you walking on the wrong side of the hallway. You're in high school and they think it's funny and your friends videotape you. How many people will walk into him? How many people will say you're on the wrong side? And then you video it and you get 1 million views. And then you keep doing it until you walk into the principal and he saw the video and he says, go to my office. Your son or daughter has been videoing this information. This is an invasion of privacy. You're gonna be suspended for 10 days. Because that's what you do as freshmen. You video people failing, falling, slipping. And then you get in trouble. Let's keep moving. That was a great example. Under the move over law, if you cannot move over safely, you must What must you do when passing a stationary object? You must slow down. You must get to the left side of your lane. If you can't move over, you reduce speed and make more room. That's why it's called a move over law. This tells me 8 of you don't understand move over law. Next, your vehicle outside mirrors should be adjusted in a way that the blind spots are reduced. This is true. Your blind spots, but I have a big mirror. The blind spots are never reduced. You have to look over your shoulder. And some of you, when you drive with me Saturday and Sunday, you're not going to look over your shoulder. You're going to cut off a car. And then I look at you like, you just cut off a car. I checked my blind spot. And then I ask your friends in the back, did they check their blind spot? One of your friends says nothing because they're scared. They won't speak the truth. The other person that's not your friend, yeah, they didn't check their blind spot. And then you get quiet. So we have to let our egos go at the door. Not like an eagle in the air, but our ego. Okay? You got to be humble. And I understand the task. I'm here to show you love. I'm here to be honest with you. I'm taking my time. Which of the following is an advantage of using enhanced mirror settings? If you read the stuff that I just showed you, the correct one is head and shoulder turning is greatly reduced. 4 people said blind spots are completely eliminated. False. 1 person said inside rearview mirror checking is not necessary. False. Another person said side mirrors can be folded inward. False. So this tells me either you guys can't read, I'm being honest, or you don't care. I'm being honest. Mom and Dad, please make sure they understand this. As you're about to enter the vehicle from the street side, you should stand, the correct answer, to the side of the vehicle. Okay, let's keep moving. If you approach an intersection without a stop sign or signal, good, Max is back now. What up, Max? Pay attention, man. You should slow down and yield to pedestrians and other traffic as they arrive at the intersection before. This is true. When you are the first in line and the light turns green, you should check left, right, and front. Some of you won't look at all. You're going to run over a pedestrian to the right. Some of you won't look left. A car's going to run a light. We have to have observation. Questions, put in a question on what I'm going over right now. I'm keeping you accountable. Time is good. The majority of the class is this worksheet. The majority of the class is worksheet 1, worksheet 2. It takes time. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to educate you. And I have enhanced mirror settings open. So I'm really doing 3 things. I'm going over worksheet 1 and 2. I'm going over mirror usage. You're getting so much value right now. But some of you just sitting here like, yeah, okay, I'm bored. Can we do a game? No, we already did a game. Gamified Classroom. We got about 70%. So I want to see questions right now. So I'm going to pause for a second. You put in your questions. I'm done pausing. I'm moving forward. I'm keeping you accountable. We are learning. We already talked about Max, the back seat. Anytime a child is in the back seat, in the event of a crash, they have the back seat, which is big. It absorbs a lot of shock. And also you have the back of the seat that is padded. So if your little brother or sister who is under 10 and they're under 4 feet, they're going to be in a car booster. If they're a newborn, 0, 1, 2, 3, at about 2 years old, they're probably going to be out of the car seat. They're going to be in a booster. So that is why both seats, the rear seats, are so important, okay? We don't want the child in an infant car seat in the front because there's an airbag. Now, let's keep moving. When should I look over my shoulder? Whenever you change lanes, Anna. If I have you change your lane to the left, inside mirror, inside, turn signal, blind spot. Inside, turn signal, blind spot. If I'm having you make a lane change to the right, inside, turn signal, blind spot. You have to look over your right shoulder. If you don't, you're gonna cut off a car. If you don't, you will be marked down, okay? Because I have the road skills evaluation and you will be marked down. The road skills evaluation is here and this is how I grade you. Okay, you have to look over your shoulder. Dangerous maneuver, strikes an object, cut off a car. Okay, You have to use your mirrors. You got to identify targets. So it's pretty involved. I love that I'm taking my time. I love it. We're taking our time. Put in questions. You always have to look over your shoulder, mirror, turn signal, blind spot. It is in the Smith system. It is in the IPDE process. And that's also in here too, right? Door locks, head restraints, seat belts, keep you from moving, airbags, anti-lock brakes, crumple zone. So if you guys don't read this blind spot detectors, you still have to look over your shoulder. The car we're driving does have lane keep assist. Okay, and if you're drifting out of your lane, it will beep, 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 beep. And if you're driving too close to a car and about to have a frontal collision, beep, 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 beep. So it will expose some of you who are driving too close. I love it that I have this up in front of me. It makes me more effective. Steering, hand over hand. That's just used for making right turns, parking, and tight maneuvers. Push-pull is used primarily for going around a curve and changing lanes, slight turns. You're going into a roundabout. I love that I'm showing you this. So now you can't say, well, when is hand over hand used for? Making right turns, skid recovery, parallel parking. It's well suited for critically sharp turns, skid recovery, or when a maneuver in the area is limited sight line, like parking lots. So I answered some of your questions about when hand over hand is used and when push-pull is used, okay? This is great because I can tie in examples of what we're doing. I'm gonna look at your questions. How have we not found a way to get rid of blind spots yet? No, they haven't, Sarah, because we will always have blind spots. Yes, new technology is slowly coming, but the automotive manufacturers still have not integrated new crispy technology in because it costs too much. So that's a great global question. You should email Ford, Chrysler, Stellantis, and ask them, how come we still have blind spots? So that's a great question. When should you check your blind spots and how should you do it? I already explained that, Joey. I already explained it. When should you stand on the side of the car in front when checking traffic? Connor, you never want to turn your back to traffic. You will get ran over. Okay, in the video we saw of the Sunshine Police Department aggressive driving and road rage, he always does not turn his back to traffic. If you turn your back to traffic, you will get ran over. Drivers may not see you, they may see you. Where is the blind spot? There are 4 blind spots, Hunter. Left side, right side, front, and back. And let's go back to our information sheet. There are 4 blind spots. And this is a great teachable moment. Let's use a picture of this semi-truck. Okay, let's pretend you're driving this car and I know you all see it. There's a blind spot here to the side of the car, past your pillar. There's a blind spot on the left. This is your left, your right, in the back and the front. So they're blind spots. For instance, you're backing your car out of your driveway. You don't check your backup camera. You just ran over a little girl or boy because you don't look behind you. You rely on your mirror, but you don't look to the right. You just hit a car. Or there's dirt on your backup camera. You can't see, and you back up out into the street and get hit. It is your fault because you didn't yield to oncoming traffic. I gave you such good examples. Motorcycles have blind spots. If our car is right here in this area where my cursor is, the motorcyclist doesn't see us. He's got to look over his shoulder or her shoulder. Okay, great examples. Why should you, okay, we already answered that. We already talked about blind spots. We talked about why you shouldn't turn your back to traffic. We talked about checking blind spots. We talked about how come, Sarah said, how come we haven't got rid of blind spots? Call Ford, call Stellantis, talk to them, they care. And they might put in new technology. When should I look over my shoulder instead of using my mirrors? You have to look over your shoulder to make a directional lane change. Here's a teachable moment. Let's go back. I'm so glad I have this technology open to help you guys so you don't think I'm talking out the side of my necklace. It is 11:50. We're doing great. Okay, mirror settings. Your mirrors just show where you're walking in the hallway in school. You stop and turn around. When you stop, a senior walks in front of you and knocks you down. And it's like, hey, freshman, don't you know when someone is walking behind you? You think you're alone in the hallway and you have a 3,000 student school. Hey, you know who I'm talking about. Or you have a 1,000 school. Hey, International Academy. Same thing in your hallway. If you just stop and don't realize someone is walking behind you, they're gonna step on you, walk into you, stab you with a pencil. You're gonna make them drop their smoothie, their Trop. Now you got a problem. So you have to be aware of cars around you. You have to look over your shoulder, and it says mirror checks can answer 3 questions. Are there vehicles present? If yes, where's the location? Are they near you? To your left, to your right? Are they right behind you? Are they in front of you? Second, if yes, what is the size of the vehicle? What is the relative speed? Okay, are they moving fast? Are they coming in to your mirror, then into your blind spot? Then they're going out. Some of you we just checked once. There's no car, and someone is moving really fast, and you go over and you hit a Mustang. So let's go over these 3 questions again. I'm so happy I'm using this. Mirror checks can answer 3 questions. First, are there vehicles present? 2, what is the location? And 3, what is the size and speed? You walk in the hallway, there are people walking fast. We have the best teacher in the school. They teach AP US History. I've done that before. My students get college credit because I use innovative teaching styles. And I'm a national scholar, Rhodes Scholar. All my students love me. They are walking very fast to get in because they know when I close the door, it's not being opened. Because if you take an AP class, your teacher should be meeting with the parents, mom and dad. They're taking an AP class. I'm not going to guarantee that they're going to get college credit. We would do everything possible to make sure they're prepared for their AP test. Guys, if you can pass the test, you get college credit. My daughter's friend, she was in the accelerated program. Okay? And she got 2 years of college taken care of because she went to a community college. But a lot of kids try to make a commitment to that, but they don't because it's a lot of work. Okay? So what does that have to do with mirrors and looking over my shoulder? You have to look, you have to identify where people are. I'm using the hallway example of your favorite teacher in the school. They've gotten awards through the state, and kids are flying there to be on time. I don't have a seating chart because my top students sit up front. We do small groups. We do think, pair, share. We do a do now, just like I'm doing in here. So if you don't look, you're gonna cut off someone and knock them into the wall, fight. If you don't look, you're gonna swing open the door and hit someone. And a real one, if you have your fingers in the doorway, you're gonna get the tip of your pinky cut off. It happened in middle school, guys. A student had their hand in the door and someone slammed it, and you know what happened. Well, what does it have to do with driving? It has everything to do with driving. Because if you're trying to squeeze in by a big truck and they don't see you, you get hit, and it's your fault. So I'm really giving you real life examples. I'm taking my time. I love taking my time, and I should. Okay, let's keep going. Who has the right of way? The right of way is only when others give it to you. You are walking out of your classroom. The hallway traffic has the right of way. Someone's going to have to slow down. You can't just walk out. You just got hit. And a girl knocked you down. She didn't mean to knock you down. What are you going to do? Hey, you knocked me down. Then you scream at her. She starts crying. Everyone says, oh, you're so mean. I'm joking. You're so mean. They video. and then she shows it to her boyfriend. It's your fault. You opened the door, you hit her, or you ran into her. When you're in the classroom, you got to open the door slow. You got to yield to traffic in the hallway. Same thing. Traffic in the hallway has the right of way. I love it. I love being an educator. A driver's field of vision should include the entire area of the highway and surroundings. True. It's like a 360 camera. Your eyes are that camera. Okay? Central, peripheral vision. Man. When turning at an intersection from a stop, the size of the gap depends on the speed of the traffic. You, as a beginner driver, you're going to pull out in front of a truck and then we're going to get hit. You, as a freshman, you misjudge how fast people are walking. You walk out in front of them, you're going to get hit. And then you walked into the same girl you knocked out last week. And then she tells the principal and she tells her friends. And then you're going to have 30 people at the door saying, come here, freshman, come here. Good examples. When driving on a one-way street past vehicles parked on the left, you should position your vehicle to the right portion of the lane. 6 of you said no less than 8 feet. So this tells me you don't understand lane line reference. Like walking your high school hallway. If you hug the left, you're going to hit people. If you hug the right, you're going to hit people in the locker. Before turning left, it is important to yield to oncoming traffic. 7 of you have no clue. Wait until traffic has the red light. There's a gap. And traffic lights are on a cycle. It could be 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 15 seconds. When there's a gap and it's safe, you need to make your turn. You will trigger road rage because you didn't turn when there was available gap. I'm just telling you the truth. Put in questions. Come on, put in questions. I'm looking at time. Time is good. I already have drivers for this weekend. It's Wednesday. I can schedule today and tomorrow. I am not rushing. Feels so good to take time and give you real examples. Please put in your questions. Put in your questions about what I just went over. I love taking my time. This is a lot, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I already have drivers for Saturday and Sunday. And I already have the list up of names. So I'm going to go through the list and it's yes or no. Please put in questions as I go along. I gave you high school examples in the hallway. Lane line reference. I gave you a middle school example. You got your hoodie on backwards. You're not paying attention. I'll be silly. You put your glasses on like this. Hey, that's what you do. I know I look funny. Yes, you put your glasses on like this and you're just walking. You're trying to get attention. You look silly, but you're not looking where you're going. You're looking for people to laugh at you. You're looking for attention. So I have my glasses on backwards. My stunner shades. Yeah, I know. Guys, I got a great sense of humor. But you got to learn to drive. Okay, I'm going down to questions. Let's keep going. Okay, why should you stand to, we already talked about that. Don't turn your back to blind spots. Whoever to answer where blind spots are at. Some of you using DOK level 1 questions. They're yes or no, simple questions. I need you to go deeper. If you really want to learn, put in higher level questions. That's what good teachers do. I'm an effective teacher. I'm going toward highly effective. It's a process. So if I set the standard, you're going to grow. And I did a screen share. Let's keep going. When should you check your blind spots and how should you check them? You look over your shoulder, quick glance. Beginners look too long. Okay. It's like guys or ladies, you see a friend that's, funny or attractive. You stare at them and then you hit someone. Don't look too long. What exactly is the move over rule again? You move over. You give people space. Tow truck, police car. Like your friend faints in the hallway. You get out of the way. You move out of the way. That's an example. That's what the move over law is. It's designed to protect our first responders. Police, tow truck drivers, ambulance. Man, I'm on point today. Woo! Guys, it's from my heart. Like I'm so pure. Like I'm passionate about this. Even if you have the right of way at a 4-way stop, why do you have to check for other people? Because Jax, you're going to walk into someone is walking slow. Maybe they dropped their phone. Maybe a driver might back up. Maybe there's a squirrel, a deer, a kid in front of them. So Jackson, that's a really good example. I gave you a high school example. You gotta go straight. Guys, there are no yield signs or stop signs in your hallway. You are walking in uncontrolled intersections. Clock that T. Clock that T. Guys, you're walking in an uncontrolled intersection. You do uncontrolled intersections from kindergarten, elementary, middle school, high school. You know what to do. You walk slow, you take your time, you yield to keep moving. You can't just walk into someone. You're gonna fall down. You're gonna spill your drink. You're gonna spill your chips. You just yield. If you're walking in front of me, I'm just gonna slow down a second, let you cross my face. If I am closer to the intersection, I'm gonna walk across your face. That is so easy. Jax, I love that. I'm locked into some good examples. I gave you a high school example. That's what good teachers do. Things are good, looking at time. Guys, we're at 26. I have the data. I'm gonna stop here because I wanna devote time to scheduling drives. Put in takeaway. Put in take away. What did you learn today? Takeaway, T-A-K-E-A-W-A-Y, semicolon. This is your chance to go in depth. I'm going deep. I'm giving you high school examples. I'm giving you uncontrolled intersection examples. You don't have stop signs in your school hallways. You don't have yield signs in your school hallways, but you do have security cameras. So if you run down a hallway and hit a kid and they punch you in the face, they shouldn't have punched you in the face, but the kid should have been running. So you're in violation, and the kid who hit you is going to get a couple days. If both of you start fighting, it's really petty because you were running in the hallway. But young adults are not fully developed mentally until age 24. So I need you to type in takeaway. Guys, this is a great masterclass. Hopefully you enjoy this. Lock in, subscribe, and leave comments. Bye, guys.